Marlon.
Thanks for having Adam. What's up, bro?
It's good to see you, man. Good to meet you.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
You've been checking my stuff out. I've been checking your stuff out. I had to drive to what's the area code here?
909.
I had to drive to the 909 from the 818.
There was how many checkpoints?
A couple. I think I even went to the that fast track lane, so I'm gonna get a bill later on.
You better pay it because they'll find you out here, man. They don't mess around with their fast tracks. I've been watching you for a while. Your channel is amazing.
Thank you. I'm blessed. What I can say is we're getting ready to celebrate 2 years next month. December will be my first episode I launched, and with the grace of God, we're at 1.4 million views, bro.
That's awesome. And we talked about the subject matter a little bit. What do you think?
What really first and foremost, thank you for inviting me to your podcast. Love the name, love the logo.
Thanks.
And we'll talk about that later because I'm really interested to know and curious. But with that being said, there was just a lot of thoughts that prompted me to, get the light bulb to do a podcast about internal affairs. And I think what stood out the most is I was teaching for Savage Training Group, right? Shout out to my boss, Scott Savage, for hiring me. And we were teaching internal affairs. And for the last about a year and a half going into this, I was just thinking to myself, man, I got to put this on a social platform because during breaks and even in the audience full of sergeants, lieutenants, sometimes even command staff, they will come up to you and they share these stories. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, you know what? We got to talk about this because you and I can agree, no one likes talking about IA, bro.
No, I was keen on one thing you said. I've trained all over this country too, training the stuff I did. The class is fine. It's the breaks.
Yeah.
That's where you get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because they won't speak in front of the class or they won't raise their hand when you ask, do you have a question? They'll wait till the break.
Yeah. And it was one of those things where I said, you know what? I got to do this on YouTube. And I launched it December of 2023, man. And blessed, 170 plus guests. Yeah. And what I've realized too, Adam, more important than anything is the fact that the common theme has been, hey, Marlon, you know what? The punishment's not the penalty. Mm-hmm. The punishment's really, truly the process. Yeah. It's what I go through. Yeah. And it's, how I'm treated. Yeah. And yet we're the thin blue line. Yeah. And yet we have to be transparent.
Yeah. Well, we're held to a standard they're not held to.
Right.
A lot of times.
Well, not only that, we don't. The minute you get an IA, I don't want to talk to Adam. Yeah. I can't talk to Adam anymore.
It's a stigma that you carry. And you don't want to be in the locker room with him. It's like, I'm not eating lunch with you. It's, I can't say it's like that all the time because there's guys who will stick with you. You have those core groups that are going to be, I don't care what they say about you. I know you. So I'm good. I'm with you.
Exactly. 100%.
And those are your boys.
Those are the boys.
Yeah. And those are the guys I gravitated to. The other guys never had a problem.
Yeah.
But IA is a sticky subject. It's kind of like saying you made a podcast about Taxman, the IRS. No one wants to talk about it.
No one wants to know your dirty laundry.
No one wants to know you. No one trusts you. It's kind of like that thing. But you did it anyways.
I did it, and it's been successful. It's been very educational for me. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a lot of growth. I've learned a lot about my beloved L.A.P.D. Mm-hmm. My first couple of guests were my FTOs. Yeah, my sergeants.
You start with your friends. Always.
You start with your friends, and they share, and they tell you stories that you're not going to hear. Yeah. I mean, I just dropped an episode of a Fed. You want to talk about Border Patrol? This guy was talking about how he. I asked him the question, hey, do you think that internal affairs is the job to protect officers? What do you think? Is IA a job to protect?
That's a good question.
Is it, you're right. Do you work IA to protect cops? And he's like, well, he goes, in my case, it was definitely to protect cops because he would say that he was in the border and he's watching a colleague, a coworker, just letting people in. Yeah. And, he's thinking, well, he's under investigation. He's just letting people in. And so now.
Why?
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm turning on blinders and I'm not doing anything?
Exactly.
Because I'm in trouble?
Yeah. And so this guest, and shout out to Chris Healy, he actually whistle blew on his boss in internal affairs. That was his boss. He ended up doing a time in a prison, federal prison.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's just to show you that I thought I had stories. No. I thought we went through some stuff, but you know what? It happens all the time. So the point being is, if we're going to talk about transparency, you know what? Here you have it.
That's hard because I believe that IAs they're detectives. So detectives, there's good ones and there's bad ones.
Right.
So it depends on who you get.
Well, not only that, you have to have some experience to investigate.
Most of the time they don't.
100%. And let me kind of add into that is because some people go to internal affairs just to get that feather in the cap. You know what? I'm going to promote.
Yeah. And the one, I've had 3 IA guys in here, and all of them went in as sergeants, came out as sergeants. So that's probably why they're in the chair.
Right. That, and also I've realized also that, it's flexible. It's good for the family.
Yeah.
Get weekends off.
It's a job to them.
Banker hours.
No. Some guys need to be investigated. We know that. There's bad cops. There's cops that you don't want in the uniform at all. We've talked about it many times in this room because everybody's retired that's come in here. So I'd say the truth. We don't want them around us. If you're dirty, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yep.
If it's, because, IA to us, it could be little things. ICIB, of course, you're looking at criminal. That's two different things. IA is usually somebody screwed up, like whatever it is. It's usually minor. ICIB, I don't want to be anywhere near those guys.
Yeah.
They're dirty if they're dirty. But the unit I was in last time, we helped them because we were the tech crew.
Okay.
So when IA would get something they couldn't handle, they went to us. And it was never a guy, leaving early for lunch, or it was some guy that's doing something really stupid in a radio car, and they need to see if he's doing it in the car. So we'd come to bring the radio car to us. So we did all that. I did it for 12 years.
Okay, so yeah.
So I'm talking other units, other departments, because you can't investigate yourself.
No.
Criminal, you're going to go outside. So we did a lot of neighboring departments, and it's just sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's one of those things where you don't hear a lot.
But
those kind of stories
Marlon,
don't
you can
get out
agree.
there.
There's just some shit you should never do, and there's some stuff that it's like, how the hell did you come to a decision that's something you're going to do on duty in a car? Where is that? Where is that gall? Where is that? I'm just going to do it, and I maybe take chances, or I might maybe just risk it.
Yes.
How?
Probably your character has a lot to do with it.
And David Infante, my lieutenant, was here last week, and he said something. He goes, a lot of people think that cops turn bad, but he thinks they were always bad, but you're just seeing them in their light. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yes, I want to think very, very interesting door to open to talk about whether or not it's inherited in you since, you were young.
Yeah.
Or did the department really do it to you? Because we can talk about culture. Culture kind of dictates what you do, what you don't do. I mean, you and I can agree 30 years ago.
Yes, you're right.
But with that being said, police work is different 30 years ago.
Yes.
Till today.
Yes.
So what I will say is this, from my experience, is that if you do something off duty that's pretty bad, is way, way more unforgiving. So in other words, the department's going to pretty much scrutinize and pass judgment on you and put the scope super narrow on off-duty behavior more than on duty. So essentially, if you start talking about you go to a radio call or you do a traffic stop, those situations where there's a use of force, maybe an OIS, you know what, for the most part, the department can be flexible. I'm not going to say forgiving, depending on what you do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, off-duty behavior is what really gets you in trouble.
Yes, I see that a lot. But I've watched a lot of your shows, and it's pretty consistent what the guys say. It's pretty, right and wrong. It's pretty common sense stuff because, pretty common sense people. But what I'm talking about is when you see, I've heard you say, what's the most important person or what's most important? In I guess, a level of who's the most important. I'm going to swear by, we learned something as detectives. That first contact is your best contact to get the truth. So to me, I'll answer one of your questions, and I'm probably messing it up because I know you have a way you do it. But the field sergeant to me is God when it comes to force or comes to IA or comes to investigations. It's just like when you talk to a gangster and you arrest him, right when you get him, that first statement in the car, backseat of the car is the best statement you're going to get. While he's on the ground, whatever it is, that before he's prepared or thought about it. That's what you want. So let's just say it's force and a cop goes out in the field and uses force. That field sergeant gets to him really as fast as possible to get him to say that, I wanted to beat that deputy's ass, or I wanted to hit him, or I was mad because my wife made me mad. That statement could save months of this guy's problem. His whole career being stalled because of Well, you didn't get that statement. Now he got back to the jails and he talked to his jailhouse lawyers and he got on the phone with his auntie and now all of a sudden he's got a plan.
Yes.
And now it's the deputy or the cop trying to say something or just defend himself when nothing happened. He actually didn't do anything wrong. If you didn't get that first statement right away, I think that's the problem. The sergeant that goes out in the field and the deputy says, yeah, I use force. He should jump on that inmate right away and say, okay, just tell me your side of the story. Because most of the time you'll get the truth.
Correct.
Because I work the jails. And there's some crazy shit that happens.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Lieutenants will come right away, and they would fess up. Yeah, I swung at him. Yeah, he made me mad. I didn't get my lunch. I missed my visit. Oh, I got sentenced today. That's the statement you want. Because as soon as they get with their homeboys, it's freaking over, man.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lawyer. He's going to have a whole line of all this lies that now you got to fight.
Yeah, no. It's lock them in on a statement.
It's the most important thing to me.
We always teach that too, especially.
Do you really? Okay.
Yeah, we do. We do. We have we just got done launching an 8-hour, just a 1-day internal affairs course where we're going to grab that one sergeant from that small to medium sized agency that doesn't even know how to do an IA because he just got promoted.
He just got there, yeah.
He's at 7-Eleven or even Starbucks. He gets his cup of coffee. Next thing you know, on the radio, he gets summons to the front lobby for a citizen's complaint. Okay, oh shit, what do I do? And so we're going to walk you through the intake process. To your point, you got to lock them in on statement.
Yes.
Because the minute you get that statement,
it's awesome.
Then you know what? Everything else doesn't really matter. And there's been times where when I worked internal affairs, I'm like, hold on a second here. I even back it up. In L.A.P.D, we have a section called Officer Rep section, which is your union reps. It was a full time, and I'll defend a cop way more than I prosecuted cops because I did 2 tours at Officer Rep section where people call me and say, hey, Sarge, dude, I got a sustained complaint. This is bullshit. The department was after me, and okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, send me the complaint. Send me the IA.
Yeah.
So I start reading it, and I'm reading it, and I'm going, well, dude, you didn't tell me about like these 3 paragraphs, bro.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a little street cred because I just came from IA. So I'm like, bro, it's hard to find.
Exactly.
My point being is that when you see a face sheet and you have all this information and now you have the investigation, the summary, you're like, well, that's not what you said in the beginning, sir,
exactly.
Mr. Johnson.
Yep.
That's not the way it works.
Yep. It works every time. And people can't remember their lies like they can remember truth. But one of the things being a detective, I was at OSS for 11 years. I said it on many times, and people have asked me personally, what did you mean by when you said you love when you do an investigation or you do an interrogation or doing an interview when they lie? I said, I love when they lie. If I can't get the truth, I will hope they lie to me like great lies. I want them to make up the most amazing lies possible. Because I'm going to take that case from that moment all the way to adjudication. I'm going to be sitting in that chair the whole time. So no one's going to flip-flop it and forget what happened and forget what someone said. I know it all. So when he lies to me and says, I did this, I did that, I wasn't there, I was here, I was watching UFC, I went to my girlfriend's house, please tell me more, because I know that's not true. And he thinks this lie is going to work. I'm going to go to every single one of those people, and I'll get the program from NBC on what came on TV at that time.
Yeah.
So when I testify as the expert, the 186, I'm going to lay out. He told me this because you know what you're going to say is what he said, and then they're going to ask you. The DA is going to ask you, well, what happened? Well, I went and talked to his girlfriend. She broke up with him 3 weeks ago. He wasn't there. He wasn't here. It doesn't matter that he didn't tell me he didn't do it.
Yep.
Now the jury knows he's a freaking liar, and that's all you need most of the time.
I'm glad we're talking about lying. That's my bread and butter. I've been hired to testify as an expert for false statements. And blessed that my beloved L.A.P.D is the only agency to this very day, right? I have a podcast and I haven't gotten a call. I've been teaching up and down the state of California, haven't gotten a call to tell me that, hey, I have a definition of a false statement or a misleading statement. We're the only agency that has that. So when people hire me, I'll have the ability to go through this analysis, this examination. And I'm really curious to hear your lens about lying, because I have realized the last 6 months that even when I prosecuted cops, when I was the advocate putting on these border rights, I've had 30 plus border rights, but 5 of them were found guilty for a false statement. And to this very day, I reflect on it to say, did we really go about it the right way? Meaning, how did we actually get this false statement?
Okay.
Part of the definition is that you as an investigator, if you're aware that someone's making a false statement, whatever that factual is. So let's just say, hey, Adam, you know what? I'm having a hard time when you transported Mr. Johnson, the arrestee, to the heliport and then you booked him. These set of facts right here are not kind of making any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of calling you a liar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Explain
and so
yourself.
The definition in it itself has to be that if you know that the accused is making a false statement, you have to give them an ability to clarify, or you have to let them know. Well, let's go with that first. So the first prong is you have to let them know that they actually made a false statement. What is that falsity? And you know what?
Well, I got to believe is, how do I know you know the truth?
Well, here's the deal. We violate our own policy.
That's the whole point. Is it? You might think something's truth when you have to clarify and make me clarify my lie. So I would say is, how do I know you know the truth? I mean, you're just like me, unless you're what do you call it, God. No one knows the full truth. We all have a perception. Coming from where I came from, the eye isn't always, ears aren't always foolproof. They can be deceived. I've done this many times. I have IA bring me stuff all the time, video, audio. We think it's this, and they walk out with their tails between their legs because it's not.
It's not.
It's not. But in their minds, when they walked in, they were, hey, Adam, we just want to show this to a court. We want to prove this, whatever. This video shows something. Like, you don't have it, bro. You got to go. And they're upset because they did all this investigation. They thought they had ironclad evidence. But like you just said, they thought they knew the truth.
What gets to me is that a lot of my, my beloved L.A.P.D, shout out to all my audience in L.A.P.D, I'm here to tell you that when you get charged or you get alleged with a false statement, I mean, we can all agree, the quote, right? You lie, you die.
Yeah.
That's a serious allegation.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so what ends up happening is you don't know about that false allegation until you get served, until you get scullied.
See, wait.
Time out.
That doesn't work. That doesn't work.
But you know what, Adam? It's been like that for decades. That's how we've been practicing.
Yeah.
And it's not just LAPD. It's all up and down the state of California. Shout out to Cleveland PD. I just came back from Cleveland to teach their internal affairs unit. We got hired. And they're ahead of the ballgame, man. They're ahead of the curve because they do what you're supposed to do, to your point. And I'm sure because you've investigated, you've been a detective for so long, that to me, it's one of those things where, and I said this to the arbitrator. I just got done testifying at as an expert for a case out of Claremont. And I told the arbitrator, I said, sir, because he asked me, he says, you know what, Mr. Marrache, you were saying in your testimony that when you feel this, though, in the questioning with the accused, right, with the subject, that perhaps they're lying. He said, will you consider that to be lack of style? And I looked at him and I said, sir, it's not a matter of style modality. And the shittiest part about it is that I had the lieutenant this far. We were in a conference room. He's in his Class A's. And, dude, I came out the gates guns blazing, dude. I cooked this dude, and he couldn't look at me for an hour and a half in the eye. And I kept pointing at him saying, I said, sir, you know what? No fault to the lieutenant, but you just don't know how to investigate and have the experience when you start talking about these serious allegations. And I gave him the example. I go, sir, imagine if I was a robbery detective or a homicide detective, and there's this serial robber that is in the box right now, and I'm getting ready to go to interrogate him. I have all this evidence, all chips on the table. I'm going to walk in there, and three things are going to happen. One, they're going to lie to me.
Yeah.
My job is to get a confession.
That's the golden grail.
That's the golden grail.
Yeah.
I might get it. Maybe.
Never know.
The other choice, the last choice is, you know what? Go pound sand. I want my attorney.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those three. So I said, arbitrator, think about it that way. If we as detectives do that with suspects, why can't internal affairs investigators go into an interview interrogation, if you will, and say to the accused, hey, Marlon, Adam, I think you're lying. And here's where I'm having a hard time. And that's why L.A.P.D, shout out, man. They did great with the definition, because you have a false statement definition, you have a misleading. There's this notion in this culture that's false and misleading. There's no such thing. It's either a false statement or a misleading statement. Misleading is essentially saying like you're telling half a lie. You know what, Adam? I'm having a hard time trying to understand, and I believe that you're misrepresenting these facts, or I'm having a hard time getting some clarity and misunderstanding these facts. When you transported the suspect and you got to the heliport and you were about to book him, these set of facts, essentially what I'm saying is that you're kind of half lying.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you every opportunity. I mean, 1 bite of the apple, 2 bites of the apple, 3, 4, 5. And if you just keep saying, I don't recall, I don't remember. I love these when you send a text. Hey, yeah, that's me. Well, what did you mean when you said these texts? Can you give me some content? Well, it's been so long, I really don't remember. I mean, my recollection, I don't recall. I don't recall. You know what you're doing? You're leaving me as the investigator with absolutely no choice but to infer that you misled me. Big difference.
Yeah.
Misleading as opposed to me telling you you're a flat out liar.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this is a phenomenon that I just discovered like maybe 6 months ago where, man, we're getting it wrong, man.
Well, I could say,
What do you think?
well, I'm saying the officer you're investigating, the officer you're talking to knows what's coming. If he says what you're looking for, he's probably going to lose his job or he's going to get days off.
Correct.
So he's just like a criminal thinking, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to go to county, I'm going to be in jail. So why would I tell you anything that's going to help you?
I agree.
I had a judge tell me one time that you should never, ever, ever, when you get busted for deuce, if you get busted for deuce, give them the blood or urine. A judge. He said, why would you give them the evidence? Why would you give it to them? This is a judge told me this. I said, well, because they tell you have to. I go, he says, there's ways. He says, but you have to void once. And he says, I wouldn't give it to him. He goes, a judge doesn't even drink. But he said, people that think they have to give the person investigating evidence really should know the law before they start just willy-nilly just giving it to them.
Right.
So you're talking about an officer who knows he's in trouble. I wouldn't help you. I wouldn't give you anything. I would, if I knew I was guilty, I knew I was dirty. Confession. You want him to confess. You want him to be a ethical, moral person.
Yeah.
But you got to think, the guy's thinking, I can't make my mortgage, can't pay for my kid's private school, I'm not going to make my car payment. Yeah, I know I did something wrong. I know I did something wrong. I know I shouldn't have hit him that time. I know I shouldn't have done something. But human nature is, I have bills to pay, I have something to do. Yeah. And they know that unfounded is always sitting there. If you can get that unfounded,
you're good to go.
You're good to go. And I'm just saying, if you have everything to lose.
Yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I wish everybody would just say, I can tell you the truth, Marlon, and you will help me out and we'll be good. And I'll be walking out the door and I'll get my paycheck at the end of the month.
You're 100% correct, because you do feel this other department's out to get you.
Well,
and you don't trust the department.
Well, if you did something wrong.
Let me back up. If you did something wrong and you lied about it,
you're good.
Well, if I come, you know what, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened.
Yeah. So it's 50-50 still.
Exactly. Even if you do, come clean. We call it what? Fall on the sword?
Yeah, of course. But you only fall on the sword if you think you're not going to get fired. Your lawyer's not going to let you tell something to fall on the sword if you're going to prison or you're going to get...
But I've had lawyers at Board of Rights tell their client, you got to fall on the sword.
Yeah, I get it. I get it both ways. But
the problem is that there's no trust in the adjudicators. There's no trust in command staff to say that, you know what? Hey, Adam, thanks for telling me the truth, but guess what? I'm still going to fire you. Yeah. And that's where we go.
That's the problem. But you also pointed out something here. It's like, we've talked in this room many times with the IA guys. I was telling them, an IA guy could be as ethical and moral as possible. He could be the best guy you ever met. He could be a guy that's not, he's a deputy guy, but an officer guy, but he's got a job where he has to investigate everybody impartially. He could do a good job. But if he's a weak man, he's going to do a bad job if somebody ahead of him or top of him tells him, you got to push this a little bit more. I want you to go back and interview this guy, and I want an outcome because it's political capital. Yep. So you got a good guy who could stand his ground, maybe get demoted or moved out of the unit, or you got a guy who says, I'm just going to do it. So it's not just the fact that the officer or the deputy is in trouble. It's the person investigating has to be strong enough to take the blow if it's coming down higher than him.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And those are the guys that I worry about, not the guys that are trying to do the job right, because it's a hard job to do, and it needs to be done, like we talked about. But when they can't withstand the pressure from the top, that guy has got a problem.
Oh, 100%. You hit the nail on the head with the word outcome. You know, we talk about, or in IA investigations, outcome-based or process-driven.
Yep, because I've been in the room, Marlon, I've been in the room where they're trying to push an outcome.
Yes, they're trying to push an outcome. You're right. It's a newsworthy event. Mm-hmm. There's a lot at stake. We've put a lot of effort into this, and you know what? I need an outcome.
I've heard, let him fire him and let him fight for his job back.
Yep.
Out of brass. I've heard the words. And how does that work?
There's this culture that I'm aware up north where there's a law firm that is hired by the city manager, mm-hmm. right? And what happens is that the chief works for the city. We know that, the city manager. And when the word is that this firm is telling chiefs, their city managers, saying, hey, go ahead and give them termination.
Yeah.
Dangle that carrot.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it just, you know what? We'll leave it to your discretion.
Yes.
To do that. Because you can always walk into your Skelly hearing, right? That's what they call it up north, mm-hmm. you know, and say, if they really feel like it, okay, I can lower it. I'm just going to give you suspension. But you go through
months.
No, not only that, you go through this process and the motions where they'll say, do that because we just want you to fire them. Let them just go to arbitration and figure out if they're going to get their jobs back or not.
Yeah. And
that's a shitty.
So you talked about the process is the punishment. That's exactly what you're talking about.
100%. Yeah. I can tell you that a lot of my guests, if you really think about, I'll even give you a perfect example. Let's just say it is sustained. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you screwed up and you're going to get allegations are going to be sustained. Dude, you got to wait like a year.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they call it days at the beach, right?
No.
We call it suspension days. But dude, I got to wait a whole year to take a neglected duty that I did like 10 months ago for a radio call, that I went to. And here I am coming to work every single day. I'm worried about the fact that your whole world comes to an end. You know that the minute you get an IA, and you know what, this process
how do you
sucks.
fix the process, though? How would you fix the process?
Well, for one, definitely have a podcast and definitely have podcasts and have us
Well, I love your podcast. I love your angle of it. I love the guys you have on there. But I'm not watching it from, I'm listening, but I'm listening and clicking on the things I know because I've, 32 years. And I'm going, I understand what that guy's saying. I understand what he's saying. I wish he knew this. I wish he knew that. Because I know the answers to their questions. Mm-hmm. Because when they're talking about fighting, they're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their battles. They're fighting for their jobs, fighting for their livelihood. When I hear some of them say something, I go, well, you had this and you had that. How come no one told you this and how come no one told you that? Because, like I said, I've been in the room.
Yeah.
And when it comes to evidence and forensics and all that stuff, that was my job. So I'm watching all this stuff and go, did you know this? I wonder if he asked that. I wonder if he asked that. And I've said on one of my podcasts that when I used to go to the jails, because we used to do a lot of jobs in the jail for homicide. And I had to sit in that little room where it's called called main control. Mm-hmm. So you sit in there and all the deputies are just hanging out there because there's nothing to do. So there's like 20 deputies and they're just sleeping, hanging out, resting. And you start talking, they're all babies. So I'm an old man and they start talking about, hey, sir, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because they know what I'm there for. I'm there to deploy something. Mm-hmm. So they have to lock down and they have to help me get into places that I need to go so inmates don't catch on. I school them all. I walk out of there and their heads are spinning because we start talking. I can hear one's on IA this, one's got an ICI this, and one's been days off. I said, what was their evidence? And they tell me, and I go, challenge this. And they go, what do you mean? I go, challenge that. And they go, what do you have? Challenge this. And they go, you guys don't know this? Nope.
No.
I said, it's easy, but they're not, even the people investigating don't know. They don't know that that's something they could offer them. But
I'll take a homicide or a very experienced detective to come in internal affairs to do a very thorough, precise investigation, no stone goes unturned. That's always been my motto, as opposed to someone who just made sergeant a couple of 4 years work patrol and then all of a sudden we're in. Not to say that's a bad thing. I mean, they understand. But even better, I'll take someone who's been through the whole process.
Well, I'm going to
that to me is probably...
He's got the most experience.
Well, not only that, just the process. Someone who probably took suspension days and say, hey, dude, I know exactly how you feel.
I know how it's going to happen. I know what's going to happen to you.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you, IAB guys would come in, ICAB guys, I don't really care. Everybody knows me. I don't give a shit. I'll tell anything. Because it's the truth. When they would come in and say, we're doing this and we're doing that, they would basically say, we have this video of this person doing something. Mm-hmm. We want you to look at it. And I would look at it. And then I would tell them, well, what you're saying he did, I don't see it. And they said, well, we said, play it back. And I go, yeah, play it back all day long. I don't see it. And they go, what are you talking about? He kicked him in the face. I said, I don't see it. And you see the deputy walk up, looks like he kicked him in the face and keep on walking. And I don't see it. They're just going crazy. You guys see it because I'm playing it at 30 frames per second. Mm. I said, but the county recorded this at 10 frames per second because they're too cheap to get the bandwidth, the storage space. So you're missing 20 frames. You're missing 5 when it comes to NIST, which is a standard of the nation. NIST is the National Institute of Science and Technology. They're the ones who make how much a gallon of gas is, what time it is. They're the ones who do measurements. Per NIST, 15 frames and above is what you would call evidence, basic evidence. Mm-hmm. Well, the county was only doing 10 frames per second when they first got the cameras because they didn't want to do $5 million a year in hard drive space. So you're using this against these deputies to fire them. When I show you, because you know what video is, it's like the flip cards. When I show you this video frame by frame, because I'm going to show you every frame, and I showed the deputy, the investigator, it went boom, boom, boom. But when it came to his face, his foot was on one side of his head and it was on the other side of his head. So the picture, I don't know if it was there, because he might not have kicked him. There's no picture showing his foot hit his face. I said, so did you let the deputies watch the video? They said, we don't let them watch video. Well, why not? They used to. They said, no, we stopped. I go, no, you stopped because you're only taking 10 frames per second. Yeah. I said, this kid might have kicked him, but it's not on this video.
Yeah. Facts are in dispute.
Yep.
You can't say with certainty that he actually kicked him.
Exactly, because it is easy, because you can break down any video and frame by frame, because you're doing podcasts, you understand frame rate.
Well, not really.
Well, I'm
going to hire you.
Well, I know
you just gave me an idea. I got cases coming. I'm going to have to hire you, especially for body-worn video stuff.
I was the first person for the LA County Sheriff's to go to training for body-worn. I went to Las Vegas, and Axon was doing it with Taser. And we discussed it. Well, they're doing 30 frames on their Tasers. And they were doing, the one I was looking at, they have up to 4 views on one camera. But the county bought the one. All right. So I went back to county and I said, this is nice, my unit, because I wasn't buying it for the county, but I was doing it because I knew they were going to ask us to look at it. Uh-huh. So I said, this is nice. It's a nice camera, but where are you going to store it? And the person that was a bigwig, I'm not going to mention him because he's a good dude and I don't want to get in trouble. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you're going to store 9,000, I sworn it's 9,000, maybe 4,000 are going to wear body cams. I don't know where you're planning on putting them. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Where are you storing that? And I said, and then you got audio. I have a First Amendment right to, you can't freaking listen to me.
Yeah.
You can't listen to me in my workplace. So when I did video in the jails, you can't do audio because you might be talking. I don't have a warrant on you. I don't need a warrant in the county jail to put in a camera because we own the county jail. Mm-hmm. I need a warrant to put it in a radio car. We own the cars. Now, audio, you need a warrant. So you can do video all day long. And some people do some stupid shit on video, so you don't even need the audio.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to tell you, they're not telling these deputies that are out there what their safety net is. Because there's certain things you can't do. Like my workspace is my workspace. Just if I had an office at Walmart, that's my workspace. You can't record me. You can't without my knowledge. You can't do it. Audio. Our voices are covered. Picture all day long. So they're asking for certain things. And what about the body cam thing? Now you're my partner and we're 10-8 somewhere and you forget to turn off your audio. And then I say something and now it's being used against me. Well, I have my speech is protected outside the car. he's recording me.
Right.
But they're going to use it against you. And they're going to win because they don't know. They're not supposed to be recording. California is very specific on their wiretap. Very, very, very strict as hell. You have to be under investigation before you can get single party. It's got to be two party or single party. You have to have some kind of investigation going. It's very strict.
Interesting. Well, a couple of things for the record. If we were together, I know you're going to say 10A, but I'm L.A.P.D, bro.
I'm sorry.
Clear. I'm clear, bro.
Out of patrol.
I've heard 10A for so long that I refuse to say 10A.
Oh, sorry. Wait, what is it called when you guys go out?
Bro, we're simple, bro. It's just clear.
We're on patrol.
Clear.
Okay.
I'm clear. I'm code 6.
Plain English.
It's plain English, bro.
Clear?
With that being said, you almost forced me to say the buzzword transparency, but we're transparent.
No, you're not.
But we are. We're supposed to be this thin blue line.
You're transparent when you came into my unit because I was the old guy on the team and we made sure
we
did our shit right.
and
they came to us for shit and we said, no. Yeah. I'm going to tell, I've said it on here, you probably watched a couple of them. We fought to the sheriff for shit that we knew was wrong. Because when it comes to Title 18, it's very specific on guys went to prison during the Tanaka for certain things. I could tell you stories all day long on that stuff. I could tell you stories for everything. But when it came to that, they were warned. They were warned not to do some stuff. And they came in and they asked us, and we told them, hell no. But because the brass came in, like you were talking about on one of your podcasts, is because I said so. Because I'm the sergeant or I'm the lieutenant. You're going to do it. And we're hell no. No. We came in, we did one where they brought in the county council with a letter of like exoneration, a pre-exoneration. But if after you guys do this job, you're not going to be in trouble for it. You can wipe your ass with this. I don't give a shit what it is. I know what the law is.
Right.
But the I told you so and I'm your boss doesn't
work.
And then it takes a deputy or cop to say no.
Yeah. It also takes a lot of courage. You asked me earlier about how to fix it. Of course, I can only talk about my beloved L.A.P.D. I can tell you a couple of things that I've learned that we should do. For one, and I don't know if you know this or not, but back in 1997, Special Order Number 1 under Chief Parks after the Rampart scandal was you shall take every single complaint, zero tolerance, meaning you can walk in the front lobby of any station in L.A.P.D. and claim anything that is just a slight
county
variation of what you believe to be alleged misconduct. They're going to cut paper. We're going to cut a face sheet. That's what we call it. That needs to be changed, bro. Come on, that's archaic. That's almost 30 years ago. Another issue that we have is our intake. Our lead-in form. Our lead-in form when we do these IA investigations, when we do the compelled, bro. That was from 2016. That was 10 years ago. A lot of my L.A.P.D., and I'm not going to mention any names because one of my classmates was there as the boss, second in charge, but I've pretty much let him know that, hey, you can't give a gag order anymore. Well, what do you mean? You can't order people anymore. There's a case out of Santa Clara County Sheriff's where you can't order someone not to talk about it anymore.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. This is like very important stuff.
People need to know.
People
need to know it.
Just because what's the good old saying? Well, this is the way we do things.
Oh God, I hate that shit.
It's
it's the way we've always done it.
I just got an interview. I voluntarily did an interview for a complaint with L.A.P.D. as a podcaster. Really? I'm not going to get into details, but I was called because comments were made, and I volunteered. Yeah, I'll give you a statement. So the investigators over the phone, when we were done, I don't know why, because that's just the way we do things. She said, okay, well, I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to give you an order not to talk about this with anybody but your attorney, your rep, or the commanding officer. I'm like,
good luck.
First of all, timeout. Number one, I'm retired. 1, 2, you can't give me an order. That's 2. And you know what? If you really, really want to do some homework, let me send you a case where you're not even you're not allowed to do gag order. You're not allowed to do gag orders anymore. And she's like, you can see silence on the phone. I'm like,
they get away with it, and they think they think they make it true. They're going to say it enough times where it's true. No, they do it all the time.
And what's been happening lately, especially up north, because this came from Northern California, is they'll say something like, okay, we're done with the interview. The time now is 1:10 p.m. And they'll say, we encourage you not to talk to Adam, Marlon, and Rick as we go forward until this internal affairs investigation is completed. Okay, that's fair enough. I get that.
Yeah, it's a choice.
But to just do a blanket gag order,
You can't.
those days
used to
are
do it all
long.
the
Yeah,
time. Remember
it just
that.
came out maybe a year and a half ago or two, and we just don't do it. And you know what? Hey, man, L.A.P.D has afforded me so much success, and God bless my experience with it. But we're not always good at everything.
No, I said to here many times. Wish we were.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're disappointed because I thought we would be. Sometimes it's like that. OSS handles all non-hit shootings. Mm-hmm. So deputy fires a gun, hits a trash can or a car. It's OSS. Mm-hmm. So I would get those all the time, and I deal with IAB. And the process of me doing my investigation, getting to IAB, I was just, this is ridiculous. It's like you said, archaic. Why is it still this bad? We should be better at it by now.
Yep.
And that used to disappoint the shit out of me because I'm an old man, like we talked about.
Me and you both, bro.
And we used to see stuff that it wasn't pretty, but it was efficient. We got things done faster. We got things done probably better outcomes. Right now, it just seems like it takes so long to get to the truth that it's muddied up by the time it gets there. Everything's destroyed by the time you get to the end of it. And maybe that's a stall tactic that I don't know about.
Could be.
I don't know. But I have family members that have gone through some shit and bad stuff where they're totally clean. They did everything right. And they're just getting drugged through gravel, man. And it's bullshit. How do you get accommodation, then you get drugged? I don't get that. I don't get it, but it happens all the time.
I defended a young officer at I'm not going to mention any divisions, Northeast, where he got 2 allegations of neglect of duty, and they sustained him. But in this incident, he got an accommodation.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
And guess what? Internal Affairs didn't even know.
Does it?
And so I'm like, you got accommodation? He goes, yeah, the sergeant showed up saying it was a use of force. Mm-hmm. He said he did a great job. He gave accommodation to all the officers had seen, and I didn't even know about it. And so when we're having this hearing, I had it in my back pocket. Like, you know what? We're going to claim that he failed to do this, and this. But hey, he did such a great job, but he failed to do this and that. I mean, come on, I'm confused here. And so the hearing officer was like, that doesn't look too good.
I'm going to use this evidence for that and slip them over. We're going to use you against each other because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't talk to each other, first of all. But I want to emphasize the fact that I never promoted because I liked my job. Bonus 2 is sergeant without the stripes. So once you get to bonus 2 is top step sergeant pay, why would I promote? I got a great job. I don't have to go back to the jails. I don't have to go back out to patrol. I can do the job I'm doing and have fun. But the sergeants would come in and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I need you to help me with this as a case. And I said, you're wrong about who it is. You got the wrong person. And that sergeant looked like he was going to beat me up. Like, I was going to try to beat me up.
Right.
But he wanted to kill me. I said, you have the wrong person. He says, you're not bullshitting. I showed him forensically. This is the wrong guy. You're going after the wrong guy. He was so mad. And his partner and him were walking around, like, pouncing around. I said it here before. And I finally got pissed. And I said, aren't you happy? It's not a deputy. Well, it's another unit in the department, but I'm glad it's not one of my guys.
Yeah.
Aren't you happy it's not a sheriff? And he said, yeah. I said, no, you're not. I said, you were going to rip his doors off the hinges tomorrow. And now you're not because you had the wrong guy. What if you had done that? This man's life would have been ruined because what the allegations were horrible, like horrible. And they had the wrong guy.
Wow.
I said, go get the right guy. Get out of my office. Well, thank you for coming out, man. Do you have anything else going on?
Just like I was telling earlier, we just got done teaching over in the state of Illinois.
Do you like the teaching?
I do, because I've realized that, for a couple of reasons. One, it's my way of giving back to the next generation. I really enjoyed it. Two, it's a topic that not many people get it right.
It's cool being in a room and teaching a subject you know more than anyone in the room.
Yes.
And that's a confidence thing because you can tell them stuff. And it's cool watching their eyes just go, oh shit, I understand.
And again, I actually have SB2, Senate Bill 2, we do a block of presentation, but what hits home for me more is these false statements, dude.
Oh yeah.
It really bothers me. This whole process bothers me as it is. And I've been on both sides of the table. I was very, I'm not going to say fascinated, but I was very wild with one of your guests. That was prior L.A.P.D. You know, Beto Tobar was just.
He's all right. No, I'm kidding. He's a good man.
He is one of. It's sad to say because of our age. That it's a landmark. Incident that a lot of people don't even know about. You know, we're getting older now. You know, and what he shared about what happened in Rampart is super, super important. And not many people get to really. You don't. I mean, L.A.P.D. is just like LASD, bro. I mean, at one point we were like 11,200 strong. And to be able to get a guest and say, hey, you know what? I kind of went through this. This journey. You know, let me tell you about my darkest moments. That's golden. Not golden as a podcast, or golden in the sense that you can teach.
It's a great story. And it's perseverance.
It has such an impact on the younger officers. So to your point, one of the reasons why I started teaching is because I want these sergeants and these investigators to learn how to investigate. And
it's a big ask, Marlon.
It's a big ask. And get this is another part that's driving me. It's like I call it nails on the chalking board. You know what kids call it cringe now. What gets you all cringe is a lot of these investigators, and it's not L.A.P.D. thank God, but it's all these other agencies where they investigate, but they decide in their report to do a heading of either conclusion or findings. And I thought to myself, the investigator. The investigator. I had a kid from Alhambra PD who was terminated on a dishonesty allegation, saw my stuff on social media, got a hold of me, and says, hey, sir, you know what? I've been watching all your stuff. Thank you for doing what you're doing because I feel like I'm not alone of all the stories that I've gone through. However, I want you to look at MIA. And what I realized is that, and it gets even worse because the investigator was a prior attorney and a retired chief. So the state of Alhambra on this particular IA, they decided to outsource it to a firm. Well, okay, cool. So here I am, you know, start listening to the audio, to the interview. This dude right off the bat from the get-go, right when they push record and they're on the record, he goes, hi, my name is Mickey Williams, and I'm here hired by the city of Alhambra. I'm an attorney, you know, whatever. And says, this is what he says, classic, bro. Quote unquote, he goes, you know what? I am here and I am a third party neutral member.
What?
I'm a neutral third party and my job is to get as many facts as I can get, right? Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing.
No.
But he said he was a third neutral party. Well, that's great. I think that's fantastic. That's cool. So I look at his report and he's got a heading of conclusions. That's kind of interesting. How can you remain neutral when you are deciding the outcome on behalf of the chief of police? Fast forward, I'm testifying in front of the chambers in city council in Alhambra, which, by the way, the city manager and the city attorney, they hand select the board members. It's a civil service commission hearing.
Of course.
And bro, I get there like around 6. It's me, the defense attorney, and the guy who's fighting to get his job back. Bro, I show up. The chief, the city attorney, chief is in his class. They're all having dinner in the back. And I'm thinking to myself,
this is a setup all the way.
How kangaroo can this be?
Yeah, it is.
I was the only witness for the defense.
Yeah.
And, I'm sitting here doing my thing. I'm spitting, dude. And I get this, I start telling them, I said, hey, you know what? She's like, well, tell me about your, on direct, questioning. The attorney started asking me like, okay, tell me about your experience. We'll go down, trip down memory lane, we'll do all this. And I said that. I said, you know what? I just kind of have a hard time when someone says they're neutral and they decided to conclude, have a heading of findings. And then not only frame the allegations, which, by the way, that's your job as an investigator, is to frame these allegations, but to actually come out with the outcome. I think that kind of is an overreach, meaning I'm confused. Are you an investigator, an adjudicator, or you just investigate? By title, you are to investigate, right? No stone goes unturned. Go gather as much evidence as you can. Try to seek the truth. Canvass here. What investigators do, what robbery, homicide, investigate. It's not a hard thing to do,
Yeah.
right? It's common sense. But now you decided to overreach and put a heading, a conclusion. Well, hold on a second. You know, and then they're like looking at, you can see these board commissioners going, they start writing that. No, I just have and here's the deal. Here comes the Blue Falcon. I don't know how this happened. So the appellant here, the officer's name is Sergio. I said, Sergio decided to give a voluntary statement interview with HSI regarding the dad's business of towing this and that. And then all of a sudden we decide to pay attention to, you can love me for this, corporal application that he submitted through his phone.
What?
And what they did is they looked at his job description to see what he put in the job description about him owning with his father of his towing business and compared the two. And then they said, we think you're lying. Not only do I think you're lying, but I'm also going to tell the chief that you. And the reason why there's inconsistencies, right? Or there's inaccuracies, if you will. You try to pad. This is what he says. You padded this information because you had a desire for you to promote. Well, what he didn't know is that he submitted that application a year before that. So this is his second time doing it.
No shit.
And of course, he did it on his phone. He didn't check to see what the description was. And I kept telling the board members, I said, you know what? I can't connect the dots. How do we go from an HSI investigation, which, by the way, the HSI told Alhambra PD, clear, we're good to go. We don't need him anymore. And they weren't even investigating his towing business that he owned with his dad. They were just investigating some criminal activity that was going on in the, it's you know how you have a business complex with a whole bunch of units? Well, they happened to be one of the units. They weren't even targeted. They weren't even the subject. And then all of a sudden we go to the application and I'm like, of course I couldn't say it, you know, respectfully and professionally that there's a Blue Falcon somewhere. I just don't know who decided to do that. So my point is that I'm realizing that there's a lot of agencies that use that particular format where they, meaning investigators, decide to include a heading of conclusion, findings. I'm even going to say recommendations. And you know what? That's not your job, bro.
Well, only one person can give their opinion, and that's in court. You have to be an expert.
Well, in internal affairs, the ultimate decision maker is the chief. I got a case going on right now where they did this. And
but he's handed an opinion. He's handed someone. He's not supposed to be handed an opinion of any sort. He's supposed to be handed evidence.
How much fun can you have on a cross this out? Hold on a second. So, Adam, you're the IO. Yes, I am. Did you write this allegation? Yes, I did. Well, you made him sustain, right? Yes. Well, is that part of your job? You're going to say yes. And you're going to say, well, that's because that's the way I was taught. No. That's the way we always do things. Got it. So can we agree that the ultimate decision maker is the chief of police for every adjudication, for every internal affair? Yes. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Did you ever talk to the chief? No. When you decided, whatever date that was, to make it sustain, did you consult with the chief?
Well, no. The chief's just going to look at that line. The chief's going to look at that line and go, oh, he did my job. Okay, another one, because they don't want to do that shit either.
No.
So they're going to go, oh, he did my work. They're doing his job, because what's the chief supposed to do? He's supposed to investigate. He's supposed to read everything.
He's supposed to read everything.
He's supposed to adjudicate. Reads everything.
No, at all.
He hands it to his lieutenant. 100%. So this guy's already done the job. It's going to do the same thing. Oh, he gave him my decision.
Right. Look, in terms of practices, if we're going to change, you asked me earlier, how do we fix all this? This is how you start fixing it. You want to talk about transparency and you want to do your job? You know what? You're an investigator. Just investigate. You know what? Shout out to L.A.P.D. because my beloved L.A.P.D., my organization doesn't do that. They don't. You're an investigator in IA, you turn it in. It goes to the lieutenant. It goes through all these levels of review. The shittiest part is that you don't know about that false statement until you actually get served. That's a whole different aspect of it.
That's got to be fixed.
There's a lot of work to be done, dude, and we're just getting started. And,
it sounds like you're on the right side of it, and you're doing a good job of it. I see your guests, and you guys are doing a great job advocating for the guys that don't have the information. The information needs to get out. I try to give it when I was there. I try to give it on here sometimes, but most of the time, these guys are talking about something else. But it's just
and it it goes
where
on deaf ears.
No, but it's important. Like I said, I have family members on the department. I have a lot of friends still in the department. I see what's happening because, everyone sees what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
But when it comes to information, we lack. If I had to kick something harder, like ring the bell harder, it would be the field sergeant first contact.
Yes.
Because that's where I've seen it happen 100 times. It's always happening. That guy that's just, so-and-so did something, I'll just write something up.
Yeah.
It's not, that is the most important man in the world. Maybe sergeant school. This is what your main priority, because this is the thing. What are they trying to do? Save money, right? The department's always trying to save money.
Always.
If you can get rid of half your investigations by cutting it off at the call, how much money do you save?
We do a disservice to our sergeants. We do a disservice to the department for not training them how to do internal affairs investigations. 1, 2, we just don't even talk about it because we feel like dysfunction is something that you learn when you get jammed up.
Oh yeah, greatest quick story I had is I chased a gangster. It was raining, shoes fell off, slipping on the mud, fell like 8 times while I'm chasing him, just jogging behind him, but he keeps running, he's falling. By the time he gave up, he sat on the curb and he was a bloody mess. He was beat to hell. Yeah. He beat himself just slipping in the mud just because he was tweaked out. And the lieutenant looked at me like I hit him. I mean, what the hell did you do, Adam? And I go, before I even answered, he goes, I slipped, damn mud. And I go, thank you, Lord. And that's what because when he got back to the okay to book and he gets into the cell, his homeboys are going to say, dude, how much money you can get?
Oh, yeah.
It happens every day. I can say 4 or 5 of those things.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is you remind me that when someone walks in the front lobby, wants to make a complaint, and that sergeant comes out, and next thing you know, everybody's watching the sergeant, and he's out there looking at cameras, and he does a follow to this location, and everybody's thinking, dude, that sergeant's fucking out to burn you, dude. He's going to leave. No, bro, what he's trying to do, he's trying to turn every single stone to ensure that by the time he gets assigned, that first sergeant is very, very important. I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, the dumbest thing I'm going to get to, and I'm getting in trouble for it, was the first joke I learned when I got to the jails is, how many deputies does it take to throw an inmate down the stairs? And it's the first joke I heard, and I'm like, brand new boot. He said, none, he tripped. That was the joke. So I'm working 900 the hole. We chain a guy up, he goes, and he falls down the stairs. He was chained up, and he slipped, and he fell down the stairs. And he tumbled, and he landed by my partner's feet. And the lieutenant comes and goes, Adam, what happened? I go, he tripped. And he looked at me like, you son of a bitch. Like, you're telling me the joke. And I said, shit, I heard myself. Like, oh my God, it's the joke. Yeah. And the guy's getting on the gurney, and the lieutenant goes, what happened? He goes, I tripped. Fantastic.
You're like,
thank you, Lord. But that first statement, because that lieutenant is going to write, as soon as he gets to the, what do you call it where you go to the doctor? Infirmary or whatever. Yeah. He's going to hang out with his boys and goes, hey, threw you down the stairs, dummy. You can get a couple bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit the lotto.
But it's dumbest things. Anyways, thank you for coming, man.
For sure. And you owe me a visit, man.
I'm a hold you. And Beto owe me a visit. I don't know if you want me to visit you because that's on your ground, bro.
Yeah. No, that's that's the least that I can do. For
I appreciate you coming all the way out here. I really do. I'm honored you came.
You know what? You're doing something that is super important. 1, 2. I always say this is that there will never be enough police podcasts.
No.
There won't.
No.
For us to have a voice, for us to have a platform to share these stories, we can go to our grave and there still won't be enough.
Yeah.
We need to have as many, and anything that I can do to help you out, man, I'm here for you.
I truly appreciate what my mission is to get the guys to come in and talk about anything. Yeah. Anything. You see my format is kind of whatever they want to talk about. I want to make reference on this podcast that I have links in my description to some different websites to get help if you guys want to talk to somebody, not just me. If you want to make a phone call and you need some help, make the phone call. Yeah. There's some good places on there.
Yeah, and before I forget, I'm glad that this is out in the forefront, meaning discipline. A lot of, I guess the best way to say this is that back in our days, when you had an IA and you were going through the process, it wasn't a mental wellness issue. When we think of mental wellness, we think about your partner.
They go hand to hand, bro.
Yeah, well, your partner kind of, let's see, someone that's killing the line of duty.
Yeah.
Partners on drugs, alcohol.
Yeah.
going through a divorce,
Divorces, yeah.
you know, all those personal issues, but no one really thinks about, hey, you know what, you got an IA, your darkest moments, and
Absolutely.
it's going to take so long for it to be adjudicated. We don't put that in the category of mental wellness, and we're doing that now.
Yeah, and that's great. And I want to help you out too. You need anything from me?
Yeah, I need you to come down.
Okay.
You and Beto, bro.
It's so good to see you, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.